Greetings, everybody. I'm Jeremiah.
That's him.
She's Vania.
That's me.
Welcome to another episode of the Beard and Curls podcast, where we talk dating, relationships, marriage, mental health, and so much more. Today, we are going in. We're talking about what it's like to work with your spouse, how to identify your purpose, how to redefine your purpose.
Oh, enough talking. Cue that intro.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Margot Bingham.
Karen Parsons.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
to Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls. Keep it locked.
Our guest today is the owner of FoxForce, a multimedia production company located in Los Angeles, California. She creates genuine engagement through high-quality creative videos. You know her, you love her. Julin, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
All right, let's just get started. So when did you first develop your love for media?
I think when I was maybe like 8 or 9 years old, my father bought an old VHS recorder, and I just went to town. I recorded everything, including myself and little shows with figures. So, when you're very young, you play with the dolls and stuff. So my first show was about like a porcelain pig farm. And I had a little story, and then I even cut to commercials where I was the spokesperson. And yeah, that was my very first project. And I edit in camera. And then as I got older, I would, do sketches with friends and just be an entertainer all around. And then I got into dancing, ballet and jazz and stuff. But I wasn't so good at it. But I really enjoyed just entertainment in general.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's nice. And who was your inspiration growing up?
I think my dad was a big inspiration to me because he was so, he had such a strong personality, but, and a hard worker. And he was also, he would make a lot of jokes, and he would always like to have fun and make the most out of life. And, so I always looked up to him doing that. And then for film and things, I was really a big Thora Birch fan. She was a young actress, and I really liked the films that she did. I thought they were so interesting, they were kind of more maybe adult themes, but as a kid watching those films, I was like, oh, that's really cool, like how she gets to be in like a cool kind of film that's not so tailored for kids but more adults. So maybe her and my dad.
Okay,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So now you have a lot of credits to your name. So of all the projects that you worked on, which one has meant the most to you?
I did this movie called Knucklebones in Dallas, Texas. And it was my second opportunity to be the lead in the film. And I just had like a really, really fun time doing it because I had already had experience acting, so I wasn't nervous anymore. And I just got to have fun and make it like really cool. It's kind of it's a scary film, but it's also some comedy in there. And I also got to learn a lot more about production and indie film production. You can see firsthand what goes into to make a film. It was a really good process, and it turned out really well. I think we almost have like 1 million views on the trailer on YouTube. And I actually haven't seen the film. I haven't seen the I saw a really rough version. I didn't even tell the director. So I saw a really rough version before the final thing came out. And then the final thing came out, and I haven't seen it yet. But it's on Amazon. It's on a lot of streaming services. So it's called Knucklebones if you're into scary films.
So when you're acting, right? Like you get your script that you need to kind of like memorize. Does it have to be exactly the same way they give it to you, or do they give you room for interpretation?
It depends, but most of the time that I've found that people like you to stick to the script and what they
Okay.
wrote,
Okay.
because it could throw off the other actors. Maybe if
Okay.
they're not so good at with improv. That
Mhm.
happened to me one time. The director said, "Hey, you can just say whatever, improv and etc." And I was new to acting, so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna say some crazy stuff and make it funny." And I did, and it threw off the lead actor so bad that he got so upset at me. I was like, "You know what? You need me to stick to the lines for you. I got you." So, and then I talked to a bigger director, and he said, "Yeah, mostly, stick to the lines, unless it's like a movie where everybody's improving." Um,
Okay.
yeah, my friend Denise did a film like that, and she said it was very cool, but everybody knew beforehand, hey, this is more like improv.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Awesome. So about FoxForce, tell us a little bit more about the motivation behind FoxForce.
Well, when I came to LA, I was really interested in just creating my own shows. And I'm a businesswoman. So I really loved the idea of making something and then having the distribution power behind it. And usually you don't do that. You write a script and you sell the script, and then that's it. So, for instance, if you wrote a film and the film makes $100 million, the screenwriter is probably going to get like one to one to two of that. And that to me, it just seemed kind of like unfair. And when I came to LA, they took my first script and they changed it, and it kind of got rid of the message that I wanted to say. And I also thought that was like a little unfair. So I was like, what if I could create a company where, the creators get to say their message that they want, and you get also the distribution power behind it. So that's where the idea came. I was like, I want something kind of cool with like music and good film and stuff. And then I was literally just writing one of my scripts in Hermosa Beach, and then like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was like, "What if I just called it FoxForce?" And then I was like, got online. I was like, "Does anybody have that name?" And I saw like no, so I was like, "Okay, it's gonna be FoxForce." And then it wasn't even until like maybe 4 years later that actually claimed that name as a business. So I was so thankful that nobody else still came up with that idea.
You and your husband work together. Can you tell us a little bit about how that is to work with your husband?
Well, it's very lovely. And Chris, actually, when we started dating, I didn't know that Chris was a cinematographer. I
Mm.
was so over the resume that guys tell you when they take you out on a date. I do this. I know this person. I drive this car, etc., etc. I was like, can you make me laugh? And do you like to eat good food? These are like my minimal requirements. I don't
Mhm.
care what you do. I don't care where you come from. Just, are you a good person? Do we fit well? And he was totally okay with that. And he never talked about that he was a cinematographer or anything. And then, we were dating for a year, and then we started to get serious. And then I kind of knew he's like, "Oh, I'm shooting something." I was like, "Well, whatever, But I had no idea that he was as good as he was. I was like, "Oh, wait, you're a really good cinematographer. We should do some projects together." And
Mhm.
he helped me with I was working for another YouTube channel down in San Diego, and he helped me do my first YouTube video for FoxForce. He helped me light it, set the scene. he helped me edit it, and we only had like a laptop at the time, and it took us like 4 days to edit and then to upload, and then we uploaded it wrong on the wrong YouTube, and it was really hard to get started. But he was there with me the whole step of the way, and I told him, I go, I want to do this company, FoxForce. So this is maybe 3 years ago, and I said I want to do this company, but it's a really big idea because it's more than just like a YouTube thing. It's not going to be that. It's going to be bigger, and I was like, it's going to take me like a year to explain to you what it is, and I said I need a partner that's going to be with me for the whole journey because I'm not going to stop, you know. And he said, okay. And we had so many talks about just what FoxForce is. And he really helped me bring it to life, what I wanted it to be visually. And he really helps with the technical side. And even with the productions, he helps because I am more of the idea creations, and then he helps me bring the ideas to life in the technical way. Like I said, I could not even upload a YouTube video. So, like, you know, imagine that. So, but we worked really good together. And of course, we had a few bumps in the road in the beginning. And I feel like that's natural. We never had like, you know, any huge like breakdowns or any kind of thing like that. But a lot of talking and a lot of understanding. So it works out really well. And my father helped my mother start her business, and it became really successful. And so I wanted that kind of partnership and companionship. And his parents, funny story, also have a business that they do together. And so I was like, if that's not destiny, I mean, you know, what is?
Right.
That's
So you
true.
guys have seen other people do it, so you knew that it's possible that you can do it as well.
Exactly. And a lot of people say, how can you live together and work together? I'm like, how can we not? We can't. Right. And we also work out together. So we are 24/7 together. And when Chris was off shooting a film, because he's a cinematographer, so he will do other projects and he'll go off and shoot. And he was shooting at night shoot. So basically 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I was all alone. I was like, where are you? I'm waiting for you to get home, which is ridiculous because you can't. I can't, you know. But it was pretty funny. We were saying how much together we are, especially now during coronavirus. Yeah, every day together. It's great. I think just keep the communication line open, understand each other, and support each other. That's our secret.
Okay.
That's great. How do you create boundaries between your personal life and like you're like doing business together, like as a couple? Do you guys have a specific strategy, like something that you do in order to, you know, maintain that personal space?
We do. So we have some rules that we follow. Basically, we don't talk about work when we are going for a jog. You know, we try to clear our minds. We don't talk about work while we're eating because Chris brought it up. He said that will create more stress. And when you're eating, you know, for your stomach health. And then we don't talk about work. Like usually like if we're done and we sometimes will work till like 9 p.m. or so. You know, starting your business, you have to be on it all the time. So if we are done at 9 p.m., we turn the computers off because we do a lot of work on the computer. We shut it down and we don't talk about it. And we've been trying more now. We have to give our mind a break from work so we can, you know, create a better workflow or better ideas or just growing in general. If you push work for 24 hours, it's you're gonna work more, and it's not going to be as good. Like he always says, work smarter, not harder, right?
Okay. So then tell us a little bit about how somebody can redefine their purpose. Like, how do you wake up and redefine your purpose? Maybe you had one purpose, but then you realize that maybe you're meant for something else. How can you do that?
Well, every day I always try to think, what's best for FoxForce and what's best for our creator community. So every day I wake up and try to just kind of expand my business. Either if that's by growing my community by 10% each week, that's our goal, or reaching out to new companies that align with our same business values, which is responsible companies. Like, for example, there's this company, they're called Homeboy Industries, and they help people that get out of prison get jobs. And I just think that's so awesome. So, just finding people that we want to work with and either writing a list or, we just got a music deal. So we're going to be starting our own digital music label under FoxForce. So this to us is what we want to do, because we want to do music and film and television. So just, setting, we always have goals, like I said, growing 10%, reaching out to new companies, and then just expanding in general. Also, we're going to be coming out with essential t-shirts, and that's this week. And then half of that profit will go to homelessness in LA. So we just try to always what good can we bring in, and then what good can we push out? That's our motto. So just, it is every day we wake up and we get started with a meeting, and probably about 30 or 45 minutes. And then we say, okay, we need to do this, this, and this for today. And we work in Asana, which is an online scheduling platform. So we just have these certain tasks that we just mark off the list. And as the leader in charge, I always meet my goals, regardless if I have to stay awake till 2 a.m., which I never do. But if I do, I will make sure that every goal is met. I don't want to let myself down, and I don't want to let anybody on my team down.
So you talked about reaching out to other organizations, things like the values of your company and all of that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about networking. Like how do you do the networking in a way that you feel, comfortable with and that align with your values?
Well, I just want to say I was not a good networker when I started it was probably 5 years ago. Somebody said, hey, if you want to be serious in this business, you have to network and you have to do it well. And I was like, oh, great. I've just spent the last 2 years hiding from everybody writing scripts. So I don't know how I'm going to re-talk to the world. I don't even know if my voice works, because I was just so heads focused on writing a good script. Now I have to be heads focused. How am I going to do good at networking? And I think I would, make the typical mistakes. I'm going to go to this, usually they have it at a bar or something. So I'll be there with one drink in the corner, just watching everybody. And I was like, this is not networking. So it took me a while just to go up to people and say, hi, I'm Julin. What's your name? What do you do? How are you involved? So I am now the conversation starter. And it's just being authentic with yourself and paying attention to what people say and how they act. If somebody is, I said, because I teach online too in my FoxForce Filmmaking Academy. I do free classes. So if anybody's interested in learning about entertainment or filmmaking, everyone's welcome to join. But you just have to be aware of who you're talking to. If I see somebody and they're like holding like a bunch of empty plates and they just don't know where to put them, I just like, go ahead, let me just take those from you. Let me just put them here. And so you can enjoy yourself, so I kind of not only start the conversation, but I make sure like everybody's comfortable. If I see like we're in a circle and somebody wants to get into the circle or they can't hear, I say, hey, y'all, open up, let this person in. You have to be a leader in the conversation, but you have to be also concerned in helping everybody else, because not everybody's going to be good at networking, and maybe they're trying. So just like keeping that in mind and being very aware and conscious of the situation, that helps. And then I don't know, don't be shy and just learn that everybody's human and that you can talk to anybody. And as long as you're being authentic and genuine in yourself, people are going to want to talk to you too. And I have met so many amazing people just by going up to them. I met an astronaut. I was like, what?
That's
I was like,
crazy.
you're an astronaut? You legit flew, to the moon and everything? And he was like, yes. And I was like, wow, what are you doing at the ASC open house? And he said, he works with NASA and they film and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, great. And I'm from Houston. So I just, I use that like, oh, you're an astronaut, so you're familiar with Houston. That's where I'm from. My mom worked at NASA. So just also using anything that you can, like everybody eats food, right? So that is the easiest networking conversation to get started with, hey, have you ever tried these like gluten-free cupcakes or whatever you want to say? And like, no, I haven't, but I actually really love strawberry. This is just an easy conversation like that anybody can start with. So that's what I would do. I would start with food. I was like, I'm a Texas girl and I love to eat. So we can talk about this.
So out of everything that you've accomplished so far, what are you most proud of?
FoxForce. I am most proud of well, I wouldn't say that. I wrote my first film script and it took me 2 years to write, and then another year I rewrote it with I don't know, I don't want to say better screenwriter, but a more experienced screenwriter. And it was my first time writing a script, and it was a story that I was very passionate about. So the fact that I got my first script to be looked at by Christina Aguilera, that was a really proud moment that I had, because I was like, wow, I found this story and I wrote about it, and because I cared about it, and it made some movement in this industry, and actually about 10 really good producers got to read it. But Christina Aguilera was very interested in it. She wanted to do a film at the time, and then I think she changed her mind about film production, but that was really cool. And then starting my own company, and then just saying like, I can do this, right? And I can go for it, and I can at least try. And we did minimal networking or marketing, and we were able to get projects from recommendations of friends. I had no idea that these projects would come. We did that. I told you guys about that music video with Egg Drop Soup. So their friends reached out to us for another music video because they loved the work so much. And I was like, oh, okay, just, one project at a time, focus on it, make it good, and then it'll bring more. So, but starting a company is very difficult, and writing a script is very difficult. But that's what I'm most proud of, both, I guess.
Okay,
That's awesome.
And even though you've accomplished so much, you're still very young. So what's next for you?
Well, I'm not that young. I'm almost 40 years old. So what's next is a family. We want to have a family and just growing FoxForce bigger. And we're working on our first feature film to be distributed by FoxForce. So that's very exciting. So finally, after all these years, and what I really wanted to do is write and distribute my own film, finally we're able to make that happen. So it definitely takes patience, persistence, hard work, and determination, but just to see it through, like you have a goal and you're going to reach that goal. That is so exciting. So that's what's coming up next.
Oh, that's awesome. So how can people find you online? Where can they go to find you guys online?
You can just Google FoxForce. We'll pop up. Also, Julin Jean, JulinJean. Our website is foxforcemedia.com, and all our links are on there. You can join our memberships. Those are completely free. You get to come to our networking events, and I will network with you, even if you've never talked to anybody. I always try to talk to everybody. So don't be shy, come out. Also, for now, we want to try to do some virtual networking events. And we have a really cool Facebook group called FoxForce Filmmaking Academy. We have different teachers. I also teach, Chris also teaches, but we call them mini classes. And they're about 10 minutes long, and it's just a couple of tips, either about screenwriting, cinematography, acting, whichever, in the filmmaking community. So anybody can join FoxForce. It's all free. Yeah, and YouTube, we have a YouTube channel too. It's called FoxForce. So yeah, we're all over the internet, I guess.
Nice.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Well, again, Julin, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And, we wish you all the best going forward and continued success with FoxForce.
Thank you, guys.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our show for today.
Thanks for tuning in.
And as always, like it or not,
Beard and Curls is the new his and hers.